there, you're watching Nightline with me, Liyana Hassanel. News making the headlines. Anwar condemns Zionist regime over the killing of Hamas leader. And government pledges not to neglect welfare of children. The headlining story. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has condemned Israel over the murder of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. In a Facebook post, Anwar said Malaysia was saddened over the death of Sinwar, a fighter and defender of Palestine. He said once again the international community has failed to fight for and ensure peace and justice is upheld, worsening the conflict in Gaza, adding that Malaysia condemns the murder. Anwar said Malaysia will continue to press the international community to condemn Israel's actions and call for a halt in the violence against Palestinians. Earlier on Saturday, it was reported that an Israeli autopsy of Yahya found the Hamas leader was killed by a gunshot to the head. Sinwar, who reportedly masterminded the attack on Israel on October 7th last year, had not been seen since the start of the Israel-Gaza war. Meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on Saturday said that Hamas was alive and will survive despite the death of its leader Yahya Sinwar in a Zionist military operation in Gaza. In a statement, Khamenei said whilst his loss was certainly painful for the resistance front against Israel, it will not end at all with the martyrdom of Sinwar, adding that Hamas is alive and will remain alive. In his first remarks on Sinwar, the supreme leader also said Sinwar was the shining figure of resistance and struggle, and that he stood with unwavering determination against the cruel and aggressive enemy and slapped them with tact and courage. Despite the killing of Yahya Sinwar, the Zionist regime did not stop its relentless attack on the Gaza Strip on Saturday as the siege on Jabalia enters its third week. At least 3 partially functioning hospitals treating severely wounded patients and sheltering thousands of displaced Palestinian civilians in northern Gaza are currently under intense Zionist fire, with at least 33 more people killed in the latest strikes on several homes. Zionist forces bombed Al-Auda Hospital in Jabalia and have also shelled Kamal Adwan and the Indonesian hospital in Beit Lahia. Local media said another Zionist attack on central Gaza's Maghazi refugee camp, at least 11 people were killed, adding that there are still missing people under the rubble. In all, at least 67 Palestinians have been reported killed in Zionist attacks across Gaza in the last 24 hours. A government that adopts good governance and responsible leadership is key to the country's political stability and progress. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said good governance enables the government to formulate and implement clear policies to guide development in the country for the benefit of the people.
We have, in the last 2 years, found political stability. But I always question, political stability is not the answer. The answer is to have good governance by responsible leaders.
Anwar said this at the launching of the Sabah International Blue Ocean Economy Conference at Sabah International Convention Centre in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah on Saturday. Also present was Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Seri Haji Jinor. Anwar added that with political stability, the country and the state can formulate policies that will help to improve the well-being and livelihood of the people. On other matters, Anwar said the 2025 budget is partially inspired by his visits and meetings with the people in Lahad Datu. Anwar added that while budget inputs are provided by experts, the wisdom of people from rural areas should not be underestimated. Sabah and Sarawak will receive 6.7 billion ringgit and 5.9 billion ringgit respectively in development funds under the 2025 budget. The Education Ministry has pledged that the welfare of children will not be neglected, following the historic allocation of 64.1 billion ringgit provided in the 2025 budget, the largest in the nation's history. Its Minister Fadlina Siddiq said the announcement made by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim during the budget presentation on Friday underscored that all children would greatly benefit from the allocation, including through the construction of new schools as well as the continued commitment to improving dilapidated schools in Sabah and Sarawak.
Alhamdulillah, kami rakamkan ucapan terima kasih kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri di atas pengumuman tersebut. Pengumuman itu telah memberikan kita satu dimensi yang sangat besar. Pertama, soal komitmen pendidikan yang mesti diterajui dengan lebih cekap, ya, kerana melibatkan peruntukan yang besar. Kedua adalah segmen inklusif yang bermaksud bahawa anak-anak kita ini tiada yang terpinggir. Kita lihat melalui pengumuman semalam, semua segmen anak-anak kita mendapat manfaat yang cukup besar daripada sekolah-sekolah baru. Kemudian inisiatif-inisiatif yang melibatkan kantin dan musola, termasuk untuk Sabah dan Sarawak, meneruskan komitmen membaiki sekolah-sekolah daif.
The minister was speaking to the media after launching the 2024 Sustainable Early Intervention Carnival in Kuala Lumpur on Saturday. In other areas, Fadlina added that the announcement of 11 Permata Kurnia centres, which provide preschool education and early intervention for children with autism, as well as the establishment of 2 schools focused on children with special needs in Johor and Sabah, was also significant. Under the 2025 budget, 64.1 billion ringgit will be allocated to the Education Ministry. The allocation is the highest in history, exceeding the 58.7 billion ringgit provided to the ministry this year. Employers are reminded to pay graduates salaries commensurate with their qualifications and not just based on the minimum wage. Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani stated that he does not foresee a major issue with the increased minimum wage of 1,700 ringgit and its impact.
Sampai mereka yang ada kelulusan ijazah, degree, keluar dari universiti pun dia nak bayar 1,700. Yang itu tak boleh lah. Yang itu kita tak paksa. Tetapi bagilah lebih daripada tu. Sebab dia ada degree, ada ijazah. 1,700 ni adalah minimum salary. Tapi kebanyakan daripada pekerja-pekerja ni dia memang dah melebihi 1,700. Macam di sektor ladang pun saya nampak ramai daripada pekerja-pekerja tempatan kita mendapat gaji lebih daripada tu.
Johari added that the employers have to accept the reality that living costs have increased. He also explained that many big and medium-sized companies are already paying above the minimum wage. On Friday, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim announced the increment of the minimum wage to 1,700 ringgit from 1,500 ringgit starting February 1st next year. Employers with fewer than 5 workers have until August 1st to comply. The Human Resources Ministry will issue guidelines on starting salaries for all employment sectors for employees' reference. The 2025 budget reinforces the Johor's potential as an economic powerhouse. According to the State's Menteri Besar Datuk Onn Hafiz Ghazi, this follows several key initiatives outlined in the 421 billion ringgit budget, including efforts to strengthen Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone, JSZ, to boost the state's economic competitiveness. In a statement on Saturday, Onn Hafiz said the Johor government also welcomed the continuation of several critical infrastructure projects, including the expansion of the North-South Expressway, plus the Sultanah Aminah Hospital 2 construction and the Flood Mitigation Plan RTB, among others. Johor is thankful for the federal government's support, and the state hopes such efforts will benefit the people of Johor as a whole. Onn Hafiz said the upcoming 2025 Johor budget will outline further initiatives and development plans aimed at providing greater assurance and prosperity to Johorians. The government is committed to the people's well-being and will continue to prioritize their interests. When tabling the 2025 budget on Friday, the Prime Minister stated that the JSS special incentives, which will help attract quality investors and create high-value jobs for locals, will be announced after the agreement is signed on December 8th. The special incentives provided will attract quality investment and offer high-value jobs in an effort to drive the growth of JSZ, thus becoming a sustainable special economic zone. The 320 million ringgit designated in the 2025 budget for enhancing internet connectivity is set to elevate the effectiveness of education institutions and overall quality of life. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, on Saturday expressed its dedication to fulfilling the government's vision of widespread, high-quality internet services for the populace's welfare. According to the MCMC, with the budget announcement, 120 million ringgit is allocated to bolster internet coverage in public higher education institutions. The funding is poised to foster improved learning environments, enabling students to engage more productively in their studies. On the 100 million ringgit for the fixed-line broadband infrastructure connectivity program dedicated to rural schools, the MCMC said it will significantly improve internet access in such areas. The MCMC then added that it embraces the 100 million ringgit set aside to enhance the National Information Dissemination Centres, NADI, across Malaysia over the next 5 years. The investment is anticipated to aid individuals in boosting their income via online business ventures, which will contribute to the digital economy's expansion. The forthcoming announcement of the second 5G network is expected to reinforce local industries' competitiveness, equipping them to vie at elevated levels. In Sarawak, rescuers have upped their efforts in the search and rescue SAR operations for the 5 rowers who went missing following a regatta boat which capsized during a training session on Friday. However, the SAR efforts, which entered the second day, conducted along the Sarawak River in Kuching, ended in vain, as none of the victims are yet to be discovered. The victims are Muhammad Iqmal Samail, Majuri Maharuf, Muhammad Afiq Ishamuddin Asari, Muhammad Khairul Bidin, and Muhammad Khairul Hisham Kasturi, all aged between 22 to 35. State Police Commissioner Datuk Mancha Atta said the victims are believed to have been swept away to the river mouth as rescuers has conducted 6 dives but has still failed to locate the victims.
Cuma cabaran dia untuk kalau kita nak musahkan sesuatu objek, dia memang tak dapat kelihatan di dalam sungai.
On the second day, 12 agencies and 127 personnel were involved in rescue efforts covering a 10-kilometer radius from the site of the incident. In the 4 p.m. incident, a fishing vessel traveling in the opposite direction of the boat generated a wave that caused water to flood the boat, which led to its eventual sinking. 11 of the paddlers managed to swim to safety, while 5 others are still missing. SAR operations will resume on Sunday. A total of 1,637 flood victims are taking shelter in 15 temporary relief centres, PPS, across 5 states. As of 10 p.m. on Saturday, Perak is the state that is the most affected, with 553 victims evacuated to 8 PPS. The majority of the victims are located in Hilir Perak, with 280 individuals from 82 families in 3 PPS, while the remaining 273 victims are evacuated to 5 PPS in Perak Tengah and Kerian. In Perlis, all 471 individuals affected are in Kangar, with 2 PPS open in the district, namely Sekolah Kebangsaan SK Seberang Ramai and Dewan IKBN Kuala Perlis. In Pahang, only 1 PPS is open at Dewan SMK Seri Semantan to cater for 354 victims from 99 families within the state. In Selangor, 152 victims are evacuated to 3 PPS in Sabak Bernam and Kuala Selangor. In Kedah, 107 victims from 29 families are placed at 1 PPS in Bandar Baharu, which is the only district affected by flood. 2 Mozambique opposition officials killed. News from the foreign front when we return.
EH958, runway 14 right.
Gentlemen, EH958, having crew proceed for landing. Thank you for choosing Fly FM.
Hey, Mat. Kita dah lambat ni, Mat. Hey, you need to speak English now. Hey, bro, we're late, bro. Hey, it's okay, let's go.
It's Ian and Hanif on the Fly Breakfast.
Mungkin hadiah juga dari dia untuk saya.
Berusaha jugalah kalau boleh nak rumah sendiri ya.
Ribuan terima kasih bagi saya satu hadiah besar.
Mak kita dah tunggu lama dah rumah baru.
Bagus dia benar.
Marilah dianjur kasih ni dengan POTMB ni memang TikTok lah sini selesa sangat.
The foreign news. A drone has hit Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's holiday home on Saturday, triggering air raid sirens across Israel, including the main city of Tel Aviv. According to Netanyahu's spokesman, one of 3 drones launched from Lebanon hit Netanyahu's residence in the town of Caesarea. Netanyahu, however, was not in the vicinity and there were no casualties. Hours after the attempted attack on his residence, Netanyahu issued a statement saying nothing will deter them and they will continue until victory. Meanwhile, the Zionist military said 2 other drones were intercepted, adding that a total of more than 100 rockets were fired across northern Israel from Lebanon, killing at least 1 person and injuring at least 13 others. North Korea on Saturday claimed it had discovered the remains of at least 1 crashed South Korean military drone in the capital, Pyongyang, releasing images of the device that some analysts confirmed was South Korean. According to a Pyongyang's defense ministry spokesman, security authorities found the remains of a crashed drone during a siege of the North Korean capital on October 13th. He added the North's investigation scientifically proved that the drone came from South Korea. However, in a brief statement, also on Saturday, South Korean officials said there was no value in verifying or responding to North Korea's unilateral claims. North Korea has previously warned it would consider it a declaration of war if another drone was detected. South Korea's military initially denied sending drones, but has subsequently declined to comment. Gunmen in Mozambique have killed an opposition lawyer and a party official on Saturday, further ratcheting up tensions ahead of protests against a disputed election result. The attackers chased the car of Podemos party's lawyer, Alvino Diaz, and party representative, Paulo Guambe, and fatally shot them in the capital, Maputo. Podemos stated that the killings are further clear evidence of the lack of justice that they are all subjected to. According to officials, the indication was that around 10 to 15 bullets were shot, and they died instantly. The killings came with tensions already high in the country as it waits for the results of an October 9th election that has drawn more allegations of vote rigging and clamping down on dissent against the 49-year rule of the Front for the Liberation of Mozambique Frelimo party. Podemos then rejected the provisional results showing a win for Frelimo and called for a nationwide strike on Monday. A flight from New Delhi to London was diverted to Frankfurt and evacuated after a report of a bomb on board. The flight was operated by Indian carrier Vistara and had 147 people on board. According to German police late on Friday, the bomb threat had been communicated in an online post on X. The authorities deployed police teams, complete with explosive detection dogs, to search of the plane after it was evacuated. No explosive device was found on board. The news of the emergency landing comes a day after Indian police arrested a minor in Mumbai on suspicion of him making bomb threats online. Several Indian airliners have recently received multiple threats via social media. However, all of them turned out to be false alarms. Tragedy forced national shuttlers to concede defeat. Actions from Malaysia Super 100 right after this breather.
Terima gempak
Power.
Satu, fighter. Best. Scene paling best bila tiba-tiba Myra tu lemah tapi tiba-tiba dia yang paling power buat silat.
Sebab banyak drift punya scenes tu kan.
Intro dia ada motorsport sikit. Lepas tu ada, pada saya, fighting dengan komedi tu satu benda yang sangat best lah. Secara budak suara boleh lah bagi 8.
Saya 11.
10/10. Memang seronok. Korang tahu-tahu je cerita dah habis Dah habis. Korang kena tengok, best.
Dipancar dari studio baru, berwajah lebih dinamik. Berita nombor 1 tontonan Malaysia. Nantikan Buletin Utama 21 Oktober.
Untuk Syah.
Tenang saja hidup.
Cepat. Gerak.
Pernah sulit.
We're back with sports badminton, the 2024 Malaysia Super 100. National women's doubles pair Teo Mei Shing, Goh Pei Ki advanced to the final following a misfortune to their semi-final rivals, compatriots Ng Ki Chuan, Yap Rui Chen on Friday. World number 112 Mei Shing Pei Ki had lost the first game 2022 and were on the verge of defeat, trailing 18-20 in the second set, when former national shuttler Chi Xuan went up for a smash and landed awkwardly, screaming in agony. Despite receiving medical treatment, she could not continue and conceded the match to Mei Shing Pei Ki. The distressed duo will face Taiwan's Nicole Gonzalez-Chan, Yang Chu-Yoon in the finals on Sunday. In the men's doubles, national pair Lo Hang-yi, Ng Ang-cheong kept their winning form as they beat Taiwan's Wu Xuanyi, Ye Hongwei 21-19, 21-17. The world number 52 duo will take on American pair Ji Yi-chen, Presley Smith in the finals. However, it was the end of the road for national mixed doubles pair Wang Tianqi, Lim Chiu-hsien, as they were defeated 19-21, 14-21 by Japanese pair Yuichi Mogami, Sayaka Hobara. On to football, the Super League. 3 matches took place on Saturday night. Perak FC suffered another loss yet again after they were beaten by Sabah FC 2-4, while Kedah FC sealed a narrow 1-0 win over Terengganu FC. PDRM FC, on the other hand, came from behind to hold Selangor FC for a 1-1 draw. At the Selayang Municipal Council Stadium, Selangor took an early lead in the 16th minute through Alvin Fortis. As the game seemed to end with a victory for the Red Giants, Iremu Timothy Oluwasun then equalised 2 minutes into injury, giving a much-needed point for PDRM. With the draw, Selangor FC maintains in the second spot, just 5 points behind leaders Johor Darul Takzim JDT. Still on football, the Saudi Pro League. Cristiano Ronaldo stole the show with a late penalty as the Portuguese sealed a dramatic 2-1 win away from Al Nassr against Al Shahab on Saturday. After a dull first half, the match sprung into life when Aymeric Laporte broke the deadlock for Al Nassr in the 69th minute. However, Al Shabab clawed their way back into the contest after Ali Al Hassan's own goal in the 90th minute, leveling the game just as full-time approached. As the match seemed destined for a draw, late drama ensued in stoppage time, with the 5-time Ballon d'Or winner converting a 97th minute penalty to seal the 2-1 win for Al Nassr. With the victory, Al Nassr are second in the league, just 4 points behind leaders Al Hilal. MACC may raid more safe houses. The details when we come back.
Hello, apa khabar? Tengok buat apa tu? Hey, dah ready ke untuk generasi showdown?
Gang Boomers dah lama ready.
Alah, tanya Kak Jen why. We are ready when you are ready.
Cakap apa ni? Kita ni Gen Z tau. Mestilah kita orang terpaling ready. Dah lah, main nak buat live ni. Jumpa nanti.
Generasi Showdown, Gen yang real.
Berani menyelam ke lautan? Planet Shark.
Mizumo follows the birds to the kill.
Ikuti si Raja Hutan memburu dalam Africa's Hunters musim kedua. Juga bertahan dalam perubahan cuaca yang ekstrim. Chasing the Rains. Semuanya setiap Isnin, Rabu dan Khamis 5 petang. Di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Nightline continues. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, is not ruling out the possibility of searching for more safe houses connected to the Menteri Besar Selangor Incorporated MBI graft scandal. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki said that the graft busters had searched 9 premises believed to be linked to politicians involved in the sand mining corruption case.
Rizalah, mana-mana tempat yang mempunyai barang bukti menjadi tugas pada pegawai penyiasat saya untuk mencari bukti berkenaan.
Azam said this after the training completion and commissioning ceremony for young integrity officers at University Sultan Zainal Abidin in Kuala Nerus on Saturday. He added that about 20 witnesses had been called to assist with the investigations and did not rule out the possibility of summoning more people. On Friday, the MACC had frozen millions of ringgit worth of assets as part of the investigation. On Thursday, the remand order for the former Chief Operating Officer, CEO of MBI Selangor, was extended for another 7 days. The Royal Malaysian Police PDRM has arrested a local man who fled and hid in Danau, Thailand, after being involved in a case of causing harm using a dangerous weapon. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein stated that the 32-year-old was arrested last Monday at a hotel following cooperation between PDRM and local authorities. Information regarding the suspect's whereabouts was received from the Northern Zone Border Intelligence Unit from the Selangor Police Contingent Criminal Investigation Department. Razaruddin explained the suspect crossed into Thailand through the Bukit Kayu Hitam Immigration, Customs, Quarantine and Security ICQS complex in Kubang Pasu, Kedah at around 6:42 a.m. on October 11th. The suspect travelled to Thailand in a grey Perodua Myvi, along with a man and a woman, and stayed at a hotel in Danau. The information was then relayed to the local authorities to apprehend and deport the suspect due to his wanted status. The suspect was arrested in front of a shop premises at around 6:30 p.m. and was deported back to Malaysia. The man is wanted to assist investigations under the Penal Code. Nightline draws to a close this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at the Lion King musical, celebrating its 25th anniversary in London's West End with a gala performance seen by over 19 million audience members. With that, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for tuning in and have a great weekend.